Okay, this is a rendition. It's called The Quest for the Safway. The Quest of the Safway. It's borrowing from the Necronomicon dream work of H.P. Lovecraft, because he mentioned the Mad Arab, Abdul al-Hazred. The rantings of the Mad Arab Abdul al-Hazred spoke of the Safway between the boating channels. You see, you have to call them boats because it's before shipping, between South Africa and India, where the Safway is the swirly cross, and it's a wave pattern wherein, like, the Buddha Rupa, or what's it called, it's like the shit. No, this is a thing though. Swaziland. Okay, so that's kind of the principle about between the unifying principle is that there's a connotation of stereotype, which has to do with reversing the charge of the wheel. Like, the wheel, you could say, is like a portal, right? Because a portal is a gateway where 12 symbols from alpha state, right? Like, when you're in alpha state, you transcribe the 12 symbols, and you can walk through this portal. It's the monstrosity, or the Leviathan, what's it called? The Dagon. Dagon is like a fish person, fish people, and you get Mithraism from that. So there's some actual contributions from history into this. A lot, actually. I'm not going to be able to cover it all. But anyway, the Safway is like a centrifugal and it has a gravitron. It's like, if you look at the swirly cross and it's in a TV screen, right? Like, with the gravitron being the source of its curvy nature, when it converges into the center point, it goes the opposite direction. Beyond the point in the middle, when you traverse the beast, the Safway, you know that the lines continue, and their pattern, it's the opposite direction, right? The opposite direction is the direction that Muhammad took his clan into Mecca and Medina when they ran around the Kaaba and Mecca. Like, to worship in Mecca, you take your clan and you encircle it, and that symbolizes the rings of Saturn, and the Saturn has a hexagon on the pole, and a hexagon is a cube. When it's it gives dimension, like it in the third dimension, it's a cube. A hexagon is a cube in the third dimension. So the Templars, with the interest of getting into the slave trade, they wanted to get into the slave trade. They met with some Arabs, I think they're like Mongolian Turks, maybe, but in Asia Minor, and they traded their knowledge of it's another mystery system. It's Pythagorean based, like it's another they're designed on electronic mechanism. And they've both been cursed to this day. Like they have the result from taking more science to the next conclusion, to the next step, is holy wars. And the Templars were feudalists. They were like in Tennessee when they had dualism, right? They were it's the rift, like they took on a rift in the Americas, right? The Civil War, and the Civil War never ended. The Safeway in the Western Hemisphere is the project of designing a federal state highway that would end at the gates of Atlantis. And off the coast of California is a fraction of a fracture, like city-state, something, an explosion cut out a deluge in the San Francisco Bay was created, and it pushed through the two gold belts in the Sierra Nevada mountains. It broke a hole in the two parallel lines and put in, it was the agenda behind the architecture for the building of the new Atlantis in the west that the Templars set out to pattern the Washington D.C. after the Pythagorean electric mechanism that requires the key. So there's some detraction that you can sort of what's the right word? Implicate Benjamin Franklin in his metaphors. Benjamin Franklin was part of the Hellfire Committee of the Nine Sisters. They have, I think they sponsored the artwork that the sculptures the Thinker came from. The Thinker is modeled after the Nile Thinker. He also that Benjamin Franklin was the thinker that opened the gates of the Amenti, right? The Amenti is of the emerald tablets of Thoth. So it's like Emeryville is the name of a city at the end of the Federal State Highway, and the Emerald City is Atlantis, and there's the Federal State Highway, which is the Golden Highway. So there's the Southway in the east, which is between the shipping, the boating channel that the Naga, they're actually, the tribe is named, I said tribe. The peoples are named after their boats, the Nagas, which are fashioned in the way of, just taking the example of the boats that were most frequent to return from the voyage. The Vatican, I think maybe like Constantinople or something, they took on some they're part like Zoroastrian and part Mithraism, and they borrowed the fish hat from Dagon, the fish god. And if you look up Gad is the fish god of the Dagon. What is the Dagon? I think I better hold off on that. Well, Dagon is Gad. You get the word bad and God from Gad. Gad is a contributor to the words God and bad, and that's Gad, and Dagon is the contributor of the word good. So that's like, I don't know. So see, there's a element of Dagon that drives men insane, and I guess that would also implicate something like a siren or a mermaid, which is some really fishy stuff. It's a damn fishy legend. Okay. Well, anyway, that's a wrap. Was I trying to do something? I was like saying that this was going to be... I'll have to rewind and find out the beginning, and then I'll harken back like the Crypt Keeper then to conclude on the rest of these what are these? Don't do that.